Time for one of our favorite games here on the show. It is Would You Rather. It's as simple as it sounds. You've played it a million times with like really cheap alcohol, so let's do this thing. Rookie quarterbacks, all of them, have sort of different dynamics once they get into the locker room. So what does veteran quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick think about the Dolphins drafting Tua Tagovailoa with the 5th overall pick? Here is what he said. He was on What's Next with Eric Wood.
I'm excited that they drafted him. Like, I'm excited because in watching him play at Alabama, like, he looks like he's a pretty dynamic talent. Just in meeting him a few times, like, he seems like an unbelievable kid, great head on his shoulders, like, says the right things, wants to do the right things. So, like, for me, I'm his biggest cheerleader right now, but I also want to be out there playing. You know, I also want to be on the field, and that's kind of why I'm still doing it, because I still enjoy playing the game. So hopefully some of the lessons I'm able to teach him are him watching me play. But if it's the other way around, you know, I'm going to do my best to help him succeed in the best way that he can.
You all love Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, Kyle, would you rather spend the season in the Dolphins quarterback room or with Baker Mayfield and newly acquired veteran Case Keenum in the Browns locker room in 2020?
First of all, I was promised there'd be cheap alcohol. Where's a plastic bottle of Popov? That's what I need. I'll pour the board, too. We could all go for that on a Thursday morning if that's what today is. I'm going with the Dolphins. First of all, I think the Browns quarterback room is going to be boring as hell this year, and maybe that's a good thing. I think Baker is almost on a vow of silence. He's been very quiet. And Case Keenum, we've met him before, interviewed him. Let's just say he's all about ball. There's not a ton of levity there. Meanwhile, in Miami, we all want a piece of Fitzpatrick, and I think Tua is going to be one of the most surprisingly funny, entertaining figures we have enter the league this year. Pure personality-wise and football IQ-wise, I want to go with Miami in a runaway.
You see, and Kyle, it's perfect you say in a runaway, because I would look at Cleveland. I think it's really interesting. You know who Case Keenum played for when he was in Minnesota and had that great season with the Minneapolis Miracle and was this outstanding quarterback that took a team to the NFC Championship game? Well, Kevin Stefanski was the quarterback's coach. He was in that room, and he was the one grooming both Teddy Bridgewater, and Sam Bradford. Now you put Case Keenum back in Cleveland with Stefanski. Stefanski sought Keenum out and put him with Baker Mayfield, who maybe has needed a big brother type veteran over the last 12 months. And I think it's really interesting. Not that Keenum would challenge Baker Mayfield, but to see what growth Baker Mayfield can have now that he's got two guys who speak the same language and have been together for many, many years, working with him to get him to that next level. I'm going to go Cleveland. And if Odell and Jarvis start get it going and maybe there are some fireworks, let's see how it's handled this year with some different veterans in the building.
Okay, I think my shirt says it all. The deadly fins with an old school double dare touch to it. Listen, man, I want to be in Miami. I mean, Fitzpatrick, he said everything that speaks to my heart. You know, he said he's going to be his biggest cheerleader, but I also want to play. I'll give him all the tools, but I want to beat him out. I think every player in the NFL should live by that. You give the guy behind you every single thing that he needs to beat you, and if you beat him out, I guarantee you your confidence on the field will skyrocket. That's the way I played, and that's the way Fitzpatrick is doing it. Just and as far as football, that's one thing. But off the field, could you imagine after practice just hitting the beach, Fitzpatrick, you got Tua playing a ukulele? I mean, that right there is heaven in itself. I'm going with Miami in a runaway.
At Jim FB with your thoughts, of course. Kyle, I just think Nate wants to go to Miami. I think that's where he could have stopped making his point. What do you think?
Yeah, he's wearing a double dare shirt. And by the way, Mark Summers once cameoed on our show. Mark Summers, if you're watching, please come back on anytime. It's summer, almost.
Yeah.
That was wild. At GMFB, we are playing Would You Rather. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. He has his own quarterback room, and he also has his own legacy to worry about this season. He has 2 league MVPs, just 1 ring, and it's not the kind that rules them all. So which resume, Peter, would you rather have? Rodgers or recently retired 2-time Super Bowl champion Eli Manning?
Okay, nothing says offseason like an Eli versus Rodgers resume debate, and I would do this for 3 hours if you want. I'm going to actually surprise you guys. As you know, I grew up in the New York, New Jersey area. Eli is looked at as an absolute sports icon, but I'm going to go with Rodgers. If Rodgers had no rings, I would say let's go with Eli. But Rodgers has the ring. He checked the box. We start getting greedy when we say we need multiple rings. Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer, unanimous selection. No one's going to argue that. When the vote comes, it's going to be Rodgers, sit down, everyone gets in. Eli's going to be a debate, and it's going to debate that people in the Midwest and the West Coast in that room might say, you guys have New York bias. He's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. He didn't have a winning record. I go Rodgers on this one, betraying my Jersey roots, saying, hey, at least he's got that one, and then you add in all the stats and all the MVP stuff that Eli in the regular season hasn't accomplished.
Okay, for me, I feel like I can appreciate Aaron Rodgers being physically gifted. The reason I wouldn't go with Aaron Rodgers is because I feel like there's going to be physically gifted quarterbacks that come after him. You can always say 10 years, 20 years, 100 years from now, you know what? This young quarterback really reminds me of Aaron Rodgers, because the game will move on and guys will mimic each other. That's just the way it goes. What you can't mimic is winning multiple Super Rings. I'm going with Manning. Eli Manning having 2 Super Bowl rings, that puts him in a different category. Was it a handful, 6 guys that have won 2 Super Bowl rings? You're in a different type of conversation. You can say that a young quarterback coming in is better than Eli. He's faster, he can throw further, whatever the case is. But until that quarterback wins multiple rings, he's staring at Eli's butt, because Eli is ahead of him in the race of multiple Super Bowl rings. You can put Aaron Rodgers in the same conversation of Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, and more recently, Pat Mahomes. But until he wins another Super Bowl ring, I'm going to always go with the guy that has more jewelry, because when he sits down and talks to his grandsons, he will say, you know, there's a short list, grandson, of guys that have won 2 Super Bowl rings, and I'm on that list.
Okay, he's got more jewelry. If only he had more wins than losses in his career. The answer here is Rodgers. Peter, I think Eli, I think he's going to get in on first ballot. I think it's going to happen. And people like me are going to be furious. And I think if his name was Eli Smith, I don't think he would get on the first ballot. So that's nepotism on a resume. You don't want to see that. I want to see Rodgers' resume, because someone's going to sit down to him and they're going to look at his resume and say, you know, it says here you lost to the Cardinals in the playoffs. And he's going to say, we lost 51-45. What do you want from me? Yeah, but it says you lost to the Cardinals again. He's going to say, I completed 2 Hail Marys in that game, 2 in the same game, and we lost. What do you want from me? I'm the greatest. Never mind Brady, never mind Town. I'm the greatest. I don't care if Eli Manning won 12 Super Bowls because of David Tyree and Manningham. My resume.
He's fired up to start the show on a Thursday. We'll be back after this. I do want to remind everybody, all of we do, to support local business. We take some time on our show, our 3-hour show every day, to remind you that it's really important to support the mom and pop shops, the people who know your name when you walk in the door. Like Kyle said yesterday, you can buy gift certificates, gift cards, you can buy online, shop locally safely while you can. And there are safe ways to do it, y'all. So please go to Verizon.com/payitforwardlive for all the information you need to make a difference, a small one, for small businesses. More GMFB on the way. We've got so many guests on the show today, you guys. I can't even stand it. Lamar, though, not